All right, man. We're gonna be doing a intake swap here on my 2003 Chevy Suburban 1500. It's the 5.3, the standard LS that comes with the engine factory. It's a 1500. I have MagnaFlow exhaust on the back already. I purchased it that way, so it's got a cool exhaust system right off the bat. So it's got that nice throaty sound to it and everything. I wouldn't know about the performance upgrade on it because I didn't have it before it was installed. But as of right now, we went ahead and ordered one off of eBay here. Cold air intake, everything like that. Right there comes with a new heat shield box to replace the old Vortec plastic box that's up there. The only things I've actually done to this truck beforehand, I did a intake manifold gasket. It was just leaking. When you turned it on when it was cold, it had a real kind of just a stutter kind of thing when it was idling. If you went to give it some gas and actually drive down the road, it had a little bit more of a stutter until it warmed up. And as soon as it warmed up, boom, she ran like a champion. So I ended up figuring out that it was the intake gasket because once it got hot, it expanded and sealed that little spot that it had there for that leak. So I did that. It was the Fel Pro, I think it's called Sure Dry or something like that. It's just pretty much the best one you can throw in there that's I'm not gonna have to worry about it again. The only reason why I would ever have to worry about maybe swapping that out or putting a new set in is if I do drop that LS6 intake manifold on there, and with that I gotta do a cam and gotta do all that because there's no point in doing it half-assed. So besides that, I threw a water pump on it. My weep hole was leaking one day. I was driving down the road and I was realizing I was losing fluid, and I was steaming from up front, so it was actually the smoke from it dripping out and landing on the engine down there. So I got the water pump switched out. I did a radiator at one point in time. But as for any kind of performance upgrades to it at that point, the only thing that I've done, it's not really a performance upgrade, it's more of an electrical upgrade, is I put the Power Master high output alternator on. It has, I think it's rated at idle. It was rated something around like 197, 200, somewhere in that range. But at operating speeds while you're driving down the road, you'll be running more around the 230 range, which I needed. I have two Rockford Fosgate P1 18-inch subs in the back that I run off of an amp of a 22 or 2400 watt amp, I believe. And then my 4-door speakers, which I can't remember the brand of those ones, but there's something like 180 RMS or something like that. I needed a second amp. I couldn't run that off my deck. So I've got another 2000 watt amp running underneath my seats that powers my door speakers. So it's like 4400 watts I'm pushing. So I needed that. I definitely needed more power coming out of my alternator. Along with that, I did the Big 3 upgrade from CAI. I can go ahead and show you that stuff when I get up there. I'll show you how I bypass the factory supply, the power supply that's there. I'll show you that one in just a second here. But like I said, I'm gonna start doing a couple real simple bolt-on, horsepower additives kind of thing. That alternator, another reason why I bought it was because I'd already planned on running my sound system and deleting the fan clutch that's on the front of the engine there and going with electric fans, so that way I can go and pick up a little more horsepower to this. The only other thing I actually plan on doing to it is dropping some shorty headers into it. That way they can just dump right into the Y pipes, still stay legal. Good old California with emissions and bullshit. So yeah, man, go ahead and take a look underneath this hood real fast. I'll show you how I did the Big 3 upgrade, how I wired it, why I did it. I'm gonna show you why I bypassed the standard one that comes with it, the stock supply, and yeah, show you the Vortec intake that we're taking off, and then we'll come back on. Maybe if there's a little tips that I figure out on the way upon removal here, maybe I'll show you a little bit more. But all right, man, here we go. All right, so like I was saying, we have the Power Master. Yeah, man, Power Master high output alternator. It is 230 on running speed and everything like that. I did the CAI Big 3 upgrade, so I have the 4-gauge wire running up here, and it drops onto the new post back here. Now, a big thing a lot of guys don't know about, a lot of guys don't really pay attention to, and they end up trying to shove that factory line back on there, and they think, oh man, the post is too big. Well, yeah, it's made that way. It doesn't come with the factory post because of the fact that they force you to do the upgrade on this. And I'm missing the little sleeve in there. Maybe I'll pull it off and shrink wrap it. But back here you have the factory power supply line here that comes to the back of your alternator, which runs down to this little box down here. I didn't clip that little end piece off. A lot of guys just snip it off so it's not there. Didn't bug me, whatever. But down here is your battery, your factory cable line, and this is only like a 10 gauge wire, maybe even 12. And when you start running a lot more amps through your wires here, these ones just tend to melt. I see a lot of guys pop this bucket open right here, this little box. I mean, let's see. And then they just try to come in here and they add it into here and do whatever with that big 3, and that you're still running off this little wire. It doesn't make any sense on why to do it that way, but a lot of guys do it, and I see it, and then they end up melting their shit and they complain about it later on. But here's, like I said, the upgraded power line here, running right over to my positive feed over here. I have my cables running. I've got this one that runs my door speakers. I've got the bigger one sitting down here with the fuse in it, my kicker 200 amp fuse, because that's running my 2400 watt sub in the back, and those bitches pull, so I definitely needed to have that. The wiring could be obviously a little bit cleaner, but like I said, this is a big thing. A lot of guys don't pay attention to when they do that. You run that up into there, and I had to actually take like a bolt and just run it through that factory hookup to slide back over the post. I was worried maybe I would throw code or maybe mess with any electrical systems by bypassing it, so I figured I would go ahead and add that to there. But the power draw is being pulled off of this here, so the actual power that is running into this alternator here is being supplied with enough, cable going there. Then my negative runs off my battery here. I dropped that one down. I found a spot down here. I see it. Don't mount them here. I see so many different guys do the big 3 upgrades and they mount here or they mount back here because they're like, oh, there's bolts. That's subframe and just exterior. That's not frame. I found this little spot down here, and I'm not sure what was supposed to be on there, but there was a hole through it and there was nothing hooked up there, so I figured, screw it, man, that's straight frame. Ran a bolt through, clamped it down nice and tight. Get a little better focus on that. Let's see. There you go. Yeah, so I just ran it down here, ran it up around the backside onto my negative post here on my battery. And then as for the negative from the alternator, oh man, another thing I see the guys do, they'll ground it here, they'll try to ground it on the back somehow by throwing an extra little nut back there or whatever. They try grounding it on the other side over here to this one, then they run it behind and all the way through the back around here and all this stuff. Let's make this real simple. It says fucking ground right there. Ground. So that fixes that. Anyways, so we're going to be taking out this Vortec intake, real standard stock box there, and getting rid of that and going and throwing in something better. I already popped the hose clamp off there, but yeah, all right, man, here we go. All right, so quick little update here, something I thought that was kind of cool that kind of just proves a point on why I'm doing this here. So I've already gotten that fit on there. Here's a filter, the new one going in, but here we have the old intake tube, the old intake box there, and got the old boot right here that went on the end of here, went into the front of the engine there. The old clamp up here and went on the back side here in between the box and stuff like that. So anyways, what I thought was pretty cool, I mean, like I said, I've got that part in there. This is not done yet. I didn't tighten that up because I want to make sure the fitment's right. Comes with a little bracket here so you can close your clamp your hose heater back in and stuff. But this is the box that it comes with. So now obviously the tube's going to sit right in here and filter's going to drop in this way. But what's really cool that I was actually noticing that I'd never noticed before, or didn't know before because I technically didn't do it, was this right here is your intake. So right here, this little square port on the fender well here, I mean, you're talking a couple inches wide there and maybe a couple inches tall there. 2 inch tall, maybe by what, 4 inch, 3 inch, something. Anyways, you have that hole, then you have those two holes together there. This hole on the bottom, that's another part of your intake there. I mean, that's your air supply coming in. I mean, that's decent. It's funneled up in through the fender well and stuff like that. On the side of your factory box here, your 2 intake holes there. I mean, it's. Ooh, I'm glad I'm changing it. So that's it, man. That's your air supply going in. I mean, that's cool. Yeah. But that box actually sits right here on top of this plate. It's the factory plate here, and this factory plate comes out, and with this new box here, these mounting holes, I already set it in there, that's why it's dusty, but these mounting holes right here and right here, and then there's one on the other side here, this tab, they would take that place. So you're gonna drop into this bolt spot here, and then these two spots over here. So that actually is gonna open all of that up. So that's gonna fit there, and those are gonna fit over there. But it opens all of that up, man. So look at the airflow that you're actually gonna have coming through there now. Compared to those two little tiny holes, technically, you have all that coming in. Now, I know that's probably going to clog that up a whole hell of a lot faster, so I'll probably look into getting those one of those sleeves that slides over, and then eventually I'm going to put a better filter on there, but that'll do for right now. The one I'm looking at online, it's, oh man, I cannot remember the brand of it for the life of me to save it right now, but inside here is actually a separate cone too, so it's an upgrade. It's one that pretty much everyone recommends, and just the filter alone is the $80 part. That's kind of where I was getting at with the fact that this tube itself, I mean, you're going to pay the same amount for a real high-end tube that you're going to pay for this tube, because the money is there. And then they have those little sleeves that you can put over. So now that I see, maybe I'll cut out a piece of wire mesh or something like that, something to fit in there, a little square, template or something. That way I got a little bit of an extra screen against that bad boy. But they make those material sleeves that just slide over that, so you can actually protect your filter a little bit better. We'll see what I go with. Right now though, I am just putting this on because, yeah, man, I want better airflow, I want more performance out of my engine. So that's gonna be that, and I will show you when I'm done. And there we go, it's all done, all installed. Everything's nice and tight, boots line up real good, pipe fits in no problem, no fitment with the hood issues, nothing like that. I mean, obviously you wouldn't expect to have any of those, but you never know. I mean, so you got your little bracket here for your heater hoses, those are back in there. The box went right in nice and smooth, bolted down into those factory bolt positions down there. One on the back over there, then there's one back there underneath the filter. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, man, it real nice. The mass airflow sensor, I decided not to throw a new one in. That one looked pretty clean. I haven't thrown any codes or anything like that anyways, so yeah, I like it. Don't mind the zip tie. That is helping mold this inside this trim. There's that metal sleeve on the inside, and because it was nice and fresh, you can bend it over there and clamp it all on. But this side just wanted to keep popping up, so I figured I'd zip tie it for now, give it a chance to get hot under the hood and stuff like that, so that way it would mold and shape and stay in place. But I'm taking it around the block a couple times already, and I can tell you this much: that right there, just that little improvement, man, a couple minutes, put it on kind of thing, it immediately picks up your throttle response. Well, I can't say immediately, but it improves it, I can tell you that much. Immediately improves it. Before, man, you throw the pedal down just because you want to jump out into traffic, you want to go around somebody, anything like that, you can feel almost that lag, that struggle for it to get moving. Put this on, I went around the block a couple times, went down the street, actually just jumped out into traffic, and as soon as you put that pedal down, you can feel it. You can feel it snatch and run. It's got a slight noise difference. It does sound a little bit better, not by much. Like I said, I already have the MagnaFlows on there, so the throatiness of that was already there. It sounds a little different to me. It may not sound any different. I'll go ahead and throw up a before and after cold start so you can hear them. I think it sounds more different when you're going down the road. You can actually hear it, just almost kind of I don't know, man, it breathes better. But yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching, guys.